Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Crypto.com live video AMA. I'm your host, Maria Ivanov, and today we'll be joined by Jose Fabrega, Head of Marketing at METIS L2. Founded in 2019, METIS is an Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution on a mission to create a decentralization platform for anyone from startup to enterprise to build and grow a company or a community. In order to support application and business migration from Web 2 to Web 3, METIS is building an easy-to-use, highly scalable, low-cost, and fully functional Layer 2 framework. In today's AMA, we'll get to learn more about METIS' vibrant ecosystem, unique use cases, tokenomics, and more. Now let's bring in Jose.
Hey everyone,
Welcome today.
pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you, Maria?
Very well, thank you. Very excited to have you here with us. Can you give us a quick introduction to yourself, your background?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jose Fabrega. I'm head of marketing for METIS, Ethereum Layer 2. A little bit about me. Before I joined Web3, I used to work in banking myself, and I had an opportunity to see firsthand all the inefficiencies that there are currently going on nowadays in the banking systems and whatnot. This was just one of the things that kind of like it made me very curious about crypto. But I'm also native from Panama, which is a beautiful country, but has a lot of issues regarding corruption and bad use of state funds. And once I really started learning about all the possibilities that blockchain could bring to us, it just made a click. And it just became part of my mission to just work in the industry and help push the industry to a place in which blockchain can be used also for managing state funds or just giving some clarity, some transparency, some to all citizens of different cities, not only citizens, but participants or members from companies, corporations, whatnot. And I think it's fascinating the use case. And well, after that, went down the rabbit hole, and here am I.
Here we all are. And how did you guys come up with the idea for METIS? Can you tell us a little bit more about your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So Metis was founded by a group of three individuals, Elena Sinelnikova, Kevin Liu, and Yuan Su. They are all three, they have a lot of experience in Web3 and like a lot of years. And they noticed that there wasn't any type of technology that would allow for open collaboration between individuals or entities. And that's where they started thinking, well, like, you know what, we should solve that. And that's when they came up with Metis. Metis is not like it's a layer two, and it's not the end goal per se. Metis is just the means to an end to building a Web3 economy hub.
And so what are the key features of your project?
Okay, absolutely. Some of the key features of the project would be, of course, scalability. We're in Ethereum layer two. We also pride ourselves on fair governance, which will be even amplified through the matrix reputation power system and our upcoming DAC frameworks, which are something like the evolution of DAOs. These are the three main differences that set us apart or set us on the way to get to this Web3 economy hub and set us apart from the rest. So L2, reputation power, and DAC framework.
Great. And you mentioned earlier how excited you are about the use cases for the platform that you're building. Can you tell us a little bit more about the most popular use cases you're seeing emerge?
Yeah, sure. As of right now, the most popular use cases are actually DeFi, because if we're intending to build a Web3 economy hub, we need to have a very strong foundations on the financial system that we want in this space. So we are prioritizing the development of our DeFi sector as of right now. In terms of the platform, kind of like the use cases for a platform, thousands. Just to give you an idea, there's even a coffee store that runs kind of like as a decentralized autonomous company on Metis. So their like use cases are unlimited. As of right now, the most important ones would be DeFi.
That's so interesting. Um, and You mentioned the different use cases. Can you tell us a little bit about some milestones that you've hit in terms of the growing user base over the years since you started in 2019?
Sure. Okay, sure. So like, especially like, I think it's very exciting, especially during this bear market, to see usage numbers or engagement numbers in the network going up. And we recently hit 9,000, 90,000 wallets. And in a matter of a week or so, we're already kind of like getting to 94,000 wallets. So the participation in the network is definitely going up. The volume in the network, we saw it grew by 300% from August to September, and it keeps going up during October. So milestone, the one that I would say I'm the most proud of, is we're about to get 100K wallets in the network. And in terms of recent milestones, I would definitely like to highlight the amount of volume that the network is processing as of right now and in the last couple months.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. Um, We've got questions from the community, and I wanted to start with a question that came up a few times. This one's from Mad X Cloud on the blockchain trilemma. METIS aims to solve the so-called blockchain trilemma. How much success have you had so far, and what are your biggest challenges?
Oh, I mean, so far, it will be so far, I would say, I mean, definitely we haven't succeeded 100%, but we never intended to succeed at the beginning. I feel like it's kind of like when people say, oh, like that network or that DAO like didn't start decentralized, but it's because it's a baby. Nothing starts decentralized or fully developed. It just develops on the way or starts decentralizing on the way. So how and how do we intend to solve this? Well, the blockchain trilemma consists on scalability, security, and decentralization. We intend to solve scalability, and we have solved scalability with the METIS Ethereum Layer 2. We intend to solve security, which is also being almost completely solved as of right now, like still a little bit under development, but by utilizing Ethereum as a settlement layer. We're having the scalability of a layer 2 with the security of Ethereum layer 1. And finally, decentralization. This is the part, or the reason why I said that we haven't 100% succeeded as of right now, because decentralization is not something that happens in one day, like overnight. Decentralization takes time, and we intend to incorporate like some core products as the matrix reputation power to create a more fair form of governance and be able to decentralize the network as a whole through soul-bound tokens, concept introduced by Vitalik in May 2022.
Great. So the challenge continues, but you're on track to tackle um, the trilemma. We've all seen the news about your recent integration with Chainlink. Can you tell us a bit more about it, and how exactly will this new integration benefit your network?
Oh, a thousand ways. Like I'm very optimistic on this new integration with Chainlink. Like first off, we've been working very closely with the Chainlink team, a team of amazing people, super smart people. And not only we integrated their price feeds on our network, but now we're also being part of their scale program. Their scale program will be a key component for bringing more apps and more activity to a network and help develop it as a whole. So not only now we have the price feeds and we are able to welcome a wave of like products that we weren't able to welcome before Chainlink, but now we're also working very closely with them to encourage the usage and activity and growth in our network. So very excited about it.
Amazing. Ketwar02 asked us if you can elaborate on the differences between Metis DAO and traditional DAOs. What really sets you apart from other L2 protocols? You touched on this earlier today, but if you can elaborate on the key differentiators, that would be amazing.
Sure. So We, or let me start by the other side. Traditional DAOs tend to be managed through coin voting. And this has been the case for DAOs, networks, and pretty much everything. And yes, it makes sense to a certain extent. But what does coin voting or causes or where does it leads us to? Coin voting means that you gotta have a coin to be able to vote, like or to be able to have a vote in the governance. If you need to have a token, it doesn't like votes don't necessarily go to the highest contributors, but they go to the highest bidders, people that are willing to pay more. So who are usually the people that are willing to pay more? Whales. And where will we go with this? We would go right back to centralization. So METIS is combining these two aspects, coin voting and soulbound tokens, which will be used as on-chain reputation to be able to not only give the voting power to the people with money, but also give a voice and a vote to the people that deserve it and the people that have contributed the most to the network. Therefore, trying to create a way more fair form of governance. Is it fully completed? Not yet, but it's on the way.
And now that we covered DAO, let's talk about DAC. Jacqueline Sino sent us a question. What's the METIS decentralized autonomous company and what are its key functions aside from governance and voting?
It's a very, very, very good question. I like it. So the difference between DAX and DAOs, I would say, is the structure. DAOs are fantastic, but DAOs don't really serve the purpose or can't really welcome Web2 enterprises in their current form. DAOs create a system of governance of participation between everyone, like among everyone in DAO, but it doesn't have a solid structure. What DAX intend to do is be a framework for these Web2 corporations, enterprises, companies to be onboarded onto Web3 through smart contract templates. These smart contract templates will allow these Web2 corporations to tackle their day-to-day operations in a seamless way, pretty much not even realizing that they are in Web3. The only thing is they are, and they will be doing it in a decentralized or data would be stored in a decentralized and immutable fashion. So it's definitely a big step in terms of usability or implementation. And we like to call it the evolution of DAOs, although we don't envision everyone to just abandon the DAO and create a DAC. We think that Web3 is about alternatives, and we are creating the right alternative for organizational structure for Web2 enterprises.
Thank you. So, Jose, let's talk tokenomics. By popular demand, let me start off by a quick intro and dive straight into METIS, the token. So, METIS is an Ethereum token that operates as the internal currency for staking and payments in the METIS ecosystem. It'll be used to pay for goods and services offered by the DAX, built on the METIS protocol. METIS token also plays a role in reducing spam and to ensure trust between developers and users. Hang on What 38 asks, can you explain the METIS tokenomics distribution? What are the long-term sustainable value drivers for the token?
Awesome. I'm glad to say that all the major lockups, like all the major unlocks, are already done. So all of like those big releases of tokens into the market or whatnot, making like introducing them into circulation, are done. In terms of sustainability, what can be some of the use cases for METIS? There's several. First off, METIS is the gas token of the network, meaning that to make any type of transaction, you need to hold METIS tokens. Second, once we start, so all the L2s have a similar issue, which is the sequencer or the validators from the L2 tend to be very centralized, tend to be pretty much the foundation. So we are intending to decentralize the sequencer. And once we decentralize the sequencer, all the validators will need to utilize METIS tokens to secure the network. And also, if they want to make any type of challenge or whatever to prove that some information is wrong or to challenge any malicious act, they will need METIS as well. Once, like a little bit further down the road, once DAX are completely ready, DAX will also have the opportunity to make an initial METIS, how do you call it, like a METIS stake, to say it like that, and be able to start validating the network. So this validation of the network for DAX, if you think about it, DAX being Web2 enterprises, corporations, or whatnot, by coming into METIS, into a METIS ecosystem, and becoming a validator, they will not also secure the network in which they are transacting, but they will also add a new revenue stream by being able to validate the network and generate those constant fees. Also, we're gonna be seeing native METIS staking soon. So that's a use case that most retail or most investors will gonna be like very excited about.
And just a follow-up question with regards to the slash, do the tokens get burned or are they distributed to the community?
With the slash, I guess you meant, I guess by the slash, they mean in the validation process of the network. If there's a malicious actor or whatnot, and he gets slashed, tokens will be distributed among the participants. Part of it will go to a person who actually who challenged this transaction or these actions. Because we prioritize security a lot. So we want to make sure that we reward these good actors or good faith actors that are helping us validate the network.
Great. So let's move on to questions about the METIS crypto ecosystem. We've got a question from Cap Cosmos. METIS DAO is an optimistic governance, which has stated that the best governance is no governance at all. Can you explain this statement a little bit further and tell us how does optimistic governance work in METIS DAO?
Yeah, sure. I actually learned about this like not too long ago. This is a Chinese proverb about the best way of governance is no governance. And it means that as of right now, we need governance because the tech is not yet on that level. But what it means is one, the tech and smart contracts are functional enough, there shouldn't be any type of governance because governance should be code or everything should be managed by code.
And you mentioned earlier the different use cases that you see emerge on your platform. You mentioned some surprising ones. F in the tune of the blah blah asked if you think that METIS ecosystem can also serve the non-blockchain and non-tech related businesses. Can you tell us a little bit more about adoption in those industries?
Sure. I mean, I think that not only METIS, but blockchain technology, kind of like most blockchains or well, I'm not going to say most, but secure, immutable blockchains can indeed be used for way more things that people think about because they are like people like to think about, oh, let's do everything on chain because X or Y reason, thinking more of kind of like new, like flashy, maybe like cool reasons, but they don't realize that this is the perfect way to assure that there's no, how do you say it, there's no bad usage or bad management of any type of funds. This way we can ensure transparency among everyone and also make all this information immutable, kind of like unalterable. So in a lot of businesses, even if they think that they have the right processes or whatnot, employees could perfectly be taking some of that for them, or maybe censoring some of those transactions and taking it as cash or whatnot. So by implementing this on traditional environments or sales environments, not necessarily super tech oriented, you can also ensure a level of transparency, immutability, and kind of like security that we wouldn't be able to achieve otherwise. So to answer the question, yes, I think it can be used for industries that are not necessarily as tech focused, but the use cases will be way less or way more limited than those for heavy tech focused industries. In those, yes, we would highly recommend use Metis for pretty much everything that you need.
That makes perfect sense. We haven't yet talked about the NFT ecosystem, and we've got a question from Crypt. Metis's NFT Bridge seems to be a major step forward with the idea of wrapped NFTs. Are you able to share how often the bridge has been used so far and how the waiting time can be improved?
Okay, actually, the how much it has been used in the past, like I don't have the statistics with me as of right now, but we're intending to have dashboards for absolutely all of those very soon. In terms of the NFT bridge, kind of like use cases, we've seen a lot of demand for NFTs bridges because this isn't even the last bridge, the last NFT bridge that was created. And this was one of the first NFT bridges, but we've seen a lot of other NFT bridges coming alive and becoming pretty popular in the space in the last few months. In terms of improving the speed, I think was the question, kind of like the time or yeah, the waiting time, I think was the part of the question. That's as of right now, that's not something that Metis could solve per se, because that's completely tied with security. Since we're an optimistic rollup as of right now, we have a 7-day window after transactions or withdrawals take place for these to be challenged. And this is not only the case for Metis, this is the case for Metis, Optimism, Arbitrum, any type of optimistic rollup. They need 7 days after transactions or bridges or withdrawals to verify this. That's why usually withdrawing funds from a layer two to Ethereum takes 7 days. Because yes, oh, like what a hassle, but also, oh, what a level of security. Because any other bridges, yes, can be super efficient and most likely are very secure as well, but they cannot assure the same security assumptions as optimistic rollup bridges.
Thank you. You're building up your platform to allow application and business migration from Web 2 to Web 3. Jai Quint asked us, how are you engaging with the communities right now in this process?
To support, well, we're engaging with the community on a daily basis, but not necessarily heavily focused on onboarding Web 2 onto Web 3, since most of our community is Web 3 focused. In terms of how we're trying to onboard these people, or what are going to be one of the things that we will launch or roll out to facilitate the transition, that will be our Polis. Our Polis middleware is a one-click, no-code deployment in Metis Andromeda. This will be like pretty much tied to the smart contract templates that we were talking about. This way, the Web2 corporations don't necessarily gotta hire a full Web3 dev team per se to do like kind of like the whole platform integration, smart contracts or whatnot, but they can just go and get the smart contracts or the functions that they would need in this kind of like in this marketplace for smart contract templates, facilitating the transition and making it way more easy, suitable, and affordable for Web2 corporations to come into Web3.
Great. And on that note, we've got a question from Rory Khan, who is wondering, how do you incentivize the community to choose Metis over the other L2 solutions?
Oh, I love this one. I love this one. Great question, Roricon. So, I mean, my opinion, as I said before, Metis is a layer two, but that's just the means to the end. A lot of layer twos aim to be the best layer two. And nothing wrong with that. Like, it's great to be the best layer two. But what else? We intend to be the right layer two for the vision that we have. We intend to be a really scalable layer two that will provide this, again, scalability for further products to be built on top. Further products as it will be our matrix reputation power system, which is, like we said, on-chain reputation. This on-chain reputation can literally serve, let's say, in the gaming industry. We've seen Web2 or traditional gamers making a lot of money and money, like why? Because they're able to monetize their skills, their reputation, everything. One big example of this is Ninja, the Fortnite player. Another use case for this on-chain reputation could also be the proving provenance of NFTs. A lot of times, if we when we buy an NFT, the only reason or the only way we know that this NFT is original per se is because OpenSea tells us it. And then we're going back to centralization. Why do we have to rely and a centralized entity to tell us what's original and whatnot. These on-chain reputation or soul-bound tokens could be attached to every single piece of this collection, tying it up to the artist. And that way, we don't need any type of platform or whatnot to tell us what's original and what's not. With like another very popular use case, under collateralized loans. One, like if we go out there and we tell someone like, yeah, you need to lock $150,000 to be able to take a loan for $100,000, they'll be like, what? Like, why would I lock more money that I want to take out? But they don't realize that in crypto, this can be pretty useful, mainly because most of these crypto funds can be used as collateral outside or can be used in a lot of ways outside, and also because sometimes these cryptocurrencies or whatnot don't have a current use case or revenue generating stream per se, and you could even lock them to get a loan on, let's say, any type of stablecoin or whatnot and get a better usage or get a take advantage of the opportunity cost by taking a currency that is not stakeable and getting one that you can either farm, stake, or whatnot. And in the real world, by tapping on their collateralized loans, this will be, I think, what will actually put DeFi in the map, because this will be a viable and competitive alternative. Competitive being the key word here to traditional banking, which would actually make people think about, hey, should I go traditional banking or should I just take a crypto loan? And finally, the way that we're going to use it, especially is, or the main way that we want to use it is governance. As we said before, most times all these networks, DAOs or whatnot, are controlled through coin voting. And like we said, makes sense, but to a certain extent. And that's where we want to introduce this on-chain reputation to make sure that the people that have the milestones, accomplishments, contributions, and all this to also have a voice in this ecosystem. So to recapitulate, layer two as the base layer, bringing the scalability for further products to be built on top. Then the matrix reputation power, bringing these functionalities that would come with the traditional reputation systems that in theory only existed in Web 2 before. And finally, DAX, which would be, like we said, the evolution of DAOs, decentralized autonomous companies that would help onboard Web2 corporations, entities, enterprises onto Web3 seamlessly and let them take advantage of all these smart contract templates and functional, kind of like all these smart contract templates and and facilitation of their day-to-day tasks, the functionalities and the centralization that will come through the matrix reputation power, and the scalability that will come from the layer two. So I hope I didn't get you all like super lost in there, but that's what I would say make us different from other layer twos.
No, absolutely, very interesting, and thank you for giving us an overview of all the incentives. You touched upon the METIS DAO reputation power system, which is what I was hoping to talk about today as well. So thank you so much. That's really appreciated. And before we wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about the future. You mentioned the 100K milestone that's coming up. But what are the other key milestones that that we should be looking forward to this year?
Okay, some of the milestones that we have for this year would be we are aiming very hard to that 1 billion TVL, and that will not happen from like overnight or whatnot. These will happen by sustainable work, sustainable development, and that's what we're doing as of right now. As I said, we've already seen a very drastic increase in transactional volume in the last couple of months, and we expect it to keep going up, especially because we have the METIS Marathon Builder Incentive Program going on right now. It intends to be a program or campaign focused on incentivizing building in the ecosystem and the usage of these products in the ecosystem, which will combine a lot of high yields encouraged or incentivized by METIS Foundation and the opportunity to get soul-bound tokens through these activities or whatnot. This way, we can not only incentivize the usage of these products and bring more users to a network, but also start to get these users to create their own reputation profile by utilizing these platforms that then they can start using for their network governance. So it's pretty much a builder incentive program focused on building the network, incentivizing these products, and kind of like getting started with the whole reputation power system that we're rolling out as of right now. So in terms of milestones, like I said, we're definitely aiming for that 1B TBL, and we're aiming not for a specific number in volume, but just to keep increasing it the way that we have recently.
Amazing. Well, we wish you all the best, but most of all, thank you so much for joining us today, and for giving us the opportunity to hear about the progress of your project and about really exciting news today. You can follow Jose on Twitter at Jose Fabrega B, and Metis at METIS DAO on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, and Instagram. Thank you so much, Jose.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for everyone for joining us. And I'm sorry for stealing the question beforehand, Maria. The reputation power one.
Yes, no worries. But this is a really interesting feature, a community-related feature that we're looking forward to hear more about as well. Be sure to follow Crypto.com to stay informed about all of our upcoming events and announcements. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto.com, as well as our official Telegram channels and our YouTube channel, where this AMA will remain viewable after today. Thank you, everyone, and see you later.